Good evening and welcome to the Hornets Nest as the Fullerton Hornets will host the Santa Ana Dons here on Hornet Radio. My name is Elias Savila. I am here with Caleb Ramos as we are set for round two of the 2025 Orange Empire Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. The Santa Ana Dons come into today 17-11 overall and 7-8 in conference, while the Fullerton Hornets come in 24-3 overall and 13-2 in conference. The Hornets are tied for first place with the Santiago Canyon Hawks with 13-2, being 13-2 in conference, and the Santa Ana Dons are fighting their way into an OEC playoff spot right now, sitting at 7-8 in this conference. Our player to watch today is Adi Gabai. He has 11.6 points per game, 90% from the field goal, and 3.7 rebounds.
A couple of key players for both teams that as we're about to tip off, I'd say you gotta watch Mac West for Santa Ana, and on the same thing, you gotta watch Joe Grahovic for Fullerton.
And we tipped off here as Fullerton has the ball. We'll give you some lineups for today's game. For the Hornets, as the Hornets get 2 points early on, Cameron Swiss will take this one back. He's joined by Mac West, Kelvonte Ellis, Ben Ahinakawa, and Jackson Brennan, as that one misses. For the Hornets, it's Justin Davis, Addy Bai, Kyrie Shepard, Joe Grahovic, and Darvell Wyatt. Gives it to Wyatt. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Davis to Shepard. No good. And will go out of bounds. It'll be Santa Ana's ball. As Kelvonte Ellis will dump it to Cameron Swiss here. Takes it back. Set up a screen. Gives it to Ellis. Grahovic guarding. Back to Swiss. For three. No good. Rebounded by Adibai. Darvell Wyatt will take this back for the Hornets and dump it to Grahovic. And there'll be a foul called by head referee Latif Smith, and it'll be Fullerton's ball. Gives it to Grahovic, back to Bai. And there's a foul on Bai. They'll have an inbound.
I don't think there was a foul. I think it just went out of bounds.
Shepard dumps it to Wyatt. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Wyatt will throw it up and is no good. Rebounded by Grahovic. Justin Davis will pass it to Wyatt. Grahovic. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it up. It's good for two as the Hornets extend their lead 4-0 here in the first quarter. 17:37 left here in the first. Brandon will dump it to Swiss, guarded by Davis. Off the foot of Brennan and picked up by Bai. Gives it to Davis. And that will go out of bounds, and it'll be Santa Ana's ball.
Both teams seem to be high-paced, trying to put pressure and score quickly. I think both of them need to take the tempo down a bit.
Cameron Swiss will take this back. We'll give it to Kelvonte Ellis, who sets up a screen. Ellis for two. It is good, and Santa Ana is on the board. 4-2. As Justin Davis will take this back. In the paint, gives it to Wyatt. Across the court to Grahovic. That's good for three. 7-2 Hornets now here in the first quarter. Cameron Swiss will take this one and dump it to Ellis. Back to Swiss for two. That one's good. 7-4 now. Kyrie Shepard will take this back. Guarded by Mac West. And he trips up, and Mac West will take that one as Kyrie Shepard is still down. But a nice block by Joe Grahovic. Brennan for three, and that one's good. And the Dons will tie this game at 7. 7-7 game at 15:54 remaining in the first quarter, in the first half. This is Hornet Radio.
Shepard took a hard fall there. Looked like he hit his head. That's why he stayed down so long.
Giving him some extra time to move around. Javon Maxwell will sub in. Back here on Hornet Radio, 7-7, 15:54 remaining in the first half. Darvell Wyatt will inbound it to Justin Davis. Screen attempt by Grahovic as Davis dumps it to Grahovic. Hands it to Shepard. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Shepard will pass it to Grahovic. Back to Shepard, to Davis. Side to Wyatt. Shepard. And that'll be a shot clock violation on the Hornets.
They were trying too hard to look for a wide open shot because Santa Ana's defense was scrambling, and they were trying too hard. They had a couple of open shots there. They were just looking for the wide open one and never found it.
Jakari Miles will take over for Shepard. As Cameron Swiss will take that. Screen by Maxwell. Mac West. And there's a foul. Looks to be on the Dons.
A lot of players here tonight on all OEC watch. You look at Mac West, Kamari Washington, Jackson Brennan, Joe Grahovic, Jakari Miles.
And Joe Grahovic with a dunk. 9-7. As the Dons will call a timeout. 9-7 Hornets here with 14:53 remaining in the first half. This is Hornet Radio. Now going back to that dunk, what did you see from Joe Grahovic?
He's obviously very tall, very lanky, but he has very, very good control of his body. He's able to get it to move how he wants it to with little effort.
Yeah, it seems easy for him being 6'10", the freshman from Foothill High School.
one of their best players, and he's still just a freshman.
Fullerton is lucky to have him for the next year. Back here on Hornet Radio, Hornets lead at 9-7 here in the first half. 14:53 remaining as Calvante Ellis will give to Cameron Swist. The Dons in red, the Hornets in white. Jackson Brenner for two. That one was good, and it's a tie game, 9-9. Justin Davis will take it back. Dumps it to White. To Miles. Layup is good for two. 11-9 Hornets. Cameron Swiss now. Guarded by Davis. Brenner gives it to West. Swiss for three. No good.
It was a deep three there, but he was fouled. You mentioned Jakari Miles. He has been a very, very steady presence for the Hornets all season coming off the bench. He's played all 27 games, only started one, but he's still averaging 14.5 points per game and 2.5 rebounds and 2 assists.
And Cameron Swiss misses both two free throws. Braden Smith will check in for Darvell Wyatt. No changes on the Dons front. Check that. Kamari Washington is now in. Looks like Jaitis Hayes and Ben Ahinakwa will sub in for the Dons as Kyrie Shepard is back in this game. Misses a layup attempt. 11-10 Hornets. Hayes, guarded by Shepard, will fall, and Shepard will recover with the ball.
Great hustle play there. Knock the ball away, dive on it, and keep it away from Swiss long enough. Or, sorry, not Swiss, Hayes.
Joe Grahovic will inbound it as they found a little sweat on the floor, and we'll get that taken care of real quick.
Last time these two teams played each other, it was one of Fullerton College's 2 conference losses and one of their only 3 losses on the season.
Grahovic will dump it to Shepard. Gives it to Smith. Grahovic for 2. No good. Recovered by Bai. And that's good for 3. 14-10 Hornets. 13:09 remaining in the first half. Devontae Ellis will give it to Washington. Brennan for 2, and that one's good. 14-12 now. That is a pretty good, close game so far. Shepard will give it to Grahovic. Adebayo will fall, guarded by Brenner. That one will go out of bounds. Tyler Peterson will sub in for Calvante Ellis. And Anthony Smith Jr. is now in for Adebayo. Shepard will give it to Grahovic. 5 seconds on the shot clock. He gets it up. No good. Rebounded by Brennan. Hayes will take it. Back to Brennan, to Washington. Peterson, and that one's blocked. Great defense by the Hornets. Shepard. That'll be a foul on the Dons.
As I was talking about earlier, the last game between them, it was very, very close when it ended 75-68 for Santa Ana, and it wasn't even an off night for the Hornets. They shot 44% from the field and 40% from three.
Mac West is in for the Dons, and so is Jackson Hops as he scores early, 16-12 now.
And one, and the Dons already have 5 fouls on them in this first half.
Hops will go to the line. And one. 17-12 now. Hayes gives it to Washington. Open is Ahinakwa. Tyler Peterson. Washington. And that one is stolen by the Fullerton Hornets. Kyrie Shepard to Grohovec. On to Miles for three. That one's good. 20-12 now. Timeout, Dons. The Hornets lead this one 20-12 with 11:02 remaining in the first half. This is Hornet Radio. The intensity, you can feel the intensity inside the Hornets Nest right now.
Absolutely, and going back to that last play, Jakari Miles, able to stop on a dime to get Tyler Peterson to almost fall over like that and just get the wide open three.
Yeah, Jakari Miles, the freshman from Stevenson Ranch, California. You can feel the crowd and the atmosphere as they know this is a big game for both the Hornets and the Dons. Back here on Hornet Radio, 2012 Hornets lead, 11:02 remaining. Both parents from the Dons and the Hornets.
And Elias, you said, and Caleb too, about the intensity of this game. The crowd is on its feet at the Hornets Nest. Nobody is down as Washington has the ball. But the thing is, both these teams are high-octane and physical players. Santa Ana wants to prove that beating Fullerton in this first game of the season, 75-68, was no fluke. And that's why it's packed here at the Hornets Nest, and that's why you can feel the intensity.
That's exactly right, Corey, as it is a big game for both teams. Cameron Swiss. Weird attempt right there, as it might have been blocked by Fullerton.
He was just trying to get the ball up to get to a shot, and he went a little too quick. But going back to that last game that they had, Swiss had 20 points in the game, but he didn't do much else. He didn't have any more than one in any other major stat category.
As Miles is denied, and it is now Don's ball as Washington. Give it to Swiss. Good ball movement by the Dons. Swiss for three. That one's good. 20-15 now. Jakari Miles. Grahovec. There's traveling called on the Hornets. Don's ball. Justin Davis will sub in for Kyrie Shepard, and Kelvonte Ellis is back in his game. He'll take over for Washington. Grahovec tries to get it to Anthony Smith Jr., but it is stolen by the Dons. Hayes gives it to Javon Maxwell, and that one's good for 3. Kari Miles guarded by Ellis. And that one is drained by Anthony Smith Jr., 22-17. Cameron Swiss for 3. No good. Rebounded by Justin Davis. Guarded by Hayes. The layup. Rebounded by Grahovec twice. And no good.
The entire Fullerton College bench and stands, I might add, looking for a goaltending on that last layup there by Davis when the defender grabbed the net and brought the rim down.
Yeah, it looked pretty obvious over here as Lateef Smith and Billy Logue seem to discuss it. Joe Grahovec will head to the line for 2. No good. He misses his first free throw. Jackson Brennan and Ben Ahinakwa will sub in for the Dons. And Addy Bai is in the game for the Hornets. Cameron Swiss gives it to Ellis. Back to Swiss. Mac West, guarded by Addy Bai. Shot clock at 9, gets that one up. No good, rebounded by Davis. 22-17, 8:06 remaining in the first half. Davis gives it to Grahovec. For 2, that one's good. Makes up for those missed free throws. Is now 24-17.
That was just a display of pure strength, just backing down his defender all the way from the three-point line.
That one will go out of bounds. It'll be Santa Ana's ball. It's Joe Grahovec looked for, protested.
Grahovec just subbed out, has 9 already.
Jackson Hobbs will take over for him. Gives it to Brennan. Double teamed, but that one's no good. Hits the back. It'll be Fullerton's ball. Hobbs will give it to Davis. To West. White. And that one's good for 2. Addy Bai. 26-17. Cameron Swiss, guarded by Davis. Washington. And that one is intercepted by Davis. Gives it to Miles. To White. 17 remaining on the shot clock. No good, but he will head to the line for 2. Foul on Ahinakwa.
Wyatt, all season for them, has been a very steady presence down low. Not really, he doesn't jump off the stat sheet at you in any way particularly, but he is a solid contributor all around. 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2 assists.
And he makes both free throws as Sean Whitson is now in this game for Jakari Miles. 28-17 Hornets, 6:43 remaining in the first half. Hayes directing traffic, gives it to Washington. To Brennan for 3, and no good, but he will head to the line.
Oh, it's a bit of a late call on the foul, but an obvious call, I would say, nonetheless. It looked like Adibai just dropped his shoulder into Brennan's side.
As he heads to the line. The first free throw is no good. Jackson Brennan, a freshman from Highlands Ranch, Colorado.
Looked like they just called a lane violation against Davis. So first one didn't count. That is his first official free throw, and he makes it.
Some mistakes early on. And he makes 2 free throws, and he'll have another.
He makes this one. He goes into 10 points for the game.
Mac West will take over for Ahinakwa. And he makes all 3 free throws. 28-20 now. Davis gives it to Wyatt. Back to Davis. Tries to give it to Wyatt, but it is stolen by Ellis. And taken back by Adibai, who gets it to Sean Woodson, who gives it to Wyatt. For 2, drains that, 30-20. 30-20 Hornets, 5:48 remaining in the first half. Hayes guarded by Woodson. Underneath to Brennan, and that's good for 2. 30-22, 8-point lead for the Hornets. Woodson for 3, no good, rebounded by Ellis. Gahovec getting ready to sub in. Jackson Brennan for 3. That one's good. 30-25. Timeout called by the Hornets.
Brennan has 15.
Hornets lead this one 30-25 with 5 minutes remaining in the first half. This is Hornet Radio.
Brennan has 15 out of the Dons 25 in the game. Brennan is absolutely on a hot streak to start out this game.
Yeah, Jackson Brennan seems like every shot he throws up is landing.
Whoever wins today moves on to the final of the OEC tournament against the winner of today's game, Cypress versus Santiago Canyon, and they will play for the OEC championship and a great seed when it comes to state playoffs.
Back here on Hornet Radio, 30-25 Hornets, 4:54 remaining in the first half. On the court for the Hornets is Justin Davis, Darvell Wyatt, Joe Grahovec, Jakari Miles, and Jackson Hops, who lands that one for two, 32-25 Hornets. And on the court for the Dons, Jartis Hayes, Mac West, Jackson Brennan, Kelvonte Ellis, and Kamari Washington. Hayes directing traffic, gives it to West.
The Hornets have switched
Brennan
to a
for
zone
three.
defense.
No good as the shot clock goes off. And it'll be a shot clock violation on the Dons.
Santa Ana's trying to argue that they're trying to argue that Brennan's shot hit the rim and that it shouldn't have been a shot clock violation, but refs saw it differently.
Davis hands it to Hops. Back Wyatt to Davis. To Grahovec for two. And that one lands. 34-25.
Incredible control there from Grahovec to get the lob pass, keep his momentum going, and get the layup up when he's practically under the basket.
Javon Maxwell is subbed in. Gives it to West. And he makes that bucket. 34-28 now.
As I had mentioned earlier, the Hornets switched to a zone defense, and that is one of the downsides of a zone defense. If you do not rotate fast enough, you're going to get wide open shots like that put up on you.
Great screen there from Grahovec. And that one's stolen by the Dons. Washington gets the layup. 34-30 as the Dons are making it interesting with 3:06 remaining in the first half.
Looked like he wanted to try and put him on a poster. He just got a little off balance before his jump.
Better to make a smart move there.
And there's a poster.
Grahovec. 36-30.
That was a great jump and catch there from Grahovec. He just got above everybody else and slammed it down.
Brennan is injured, and he'll head to our train staff. His eye.
Looked like he got potentially poked in his eye. He needs to take a minute, let his vision reset. Or, sorry, his contact lens popped out. Excuse me.
Kamari Washington will take over for the time being. Hayes gives it to West. Back to Hayes. Across the court to Ellis. Washington guarded, double teamed by Anthony Smith Jr. It is now Hornets ball. And that one is mishandled by Davis, and the Dons will capitalize on that mistake. 36-32. Grahovec. Miles. Back to Grahovec. 2 minutes left in the first half. 8 seconds on the shot clock. And that one's stolen by Washington. And that one's blocked by Addy Bai. Great defense there by the Hornets.
I don't know if I agree with the call there. They're calling a foul. It looked clean to me, but refs do have a better vantage point than we do sitting over here by the scorer table, or not scorer table, broadcast table. So
leave it up to the professionals. And Washington misses his first free throw. Cameron Swiss will come back into the game. He'll take over for Hayes. And Wyatt will take over for Anthony Smith Jr. Kamari Washington already visited the line today.
Trying to clean up some sweat, make sure nobody gets hurt.
As Perry Webster, always intense. And he misses both free throws, and Grahovic will rebound it. Kyrie Shepard, guarded by West. Gives it to Grahovic. Adibai tries to get that one to Grahovic, but is blocked out of bounds by Washington. As Jackson Brennan's contacts look to be fixed, and he's coming back in the game. 36-32, a minute 21 left in the first half. Jackson Hobbs will take over for Darvell Wyatt. Miles gets it up, and that one's good. 38-32. Approaching a minute left in the first half. And Maxwell gets that one up. 38-34. 4-point lead for the Hornets.
Very good to drop his shoulder into Grahovic and get just enough space to get past Grahovic's reach and put the layup up and in.
And that one is blocked by the Dons. Miles is slow to get up. And it seems to see some more tripping. (38-34), 35 seconds remaining here in the first half.
The Dons are not quite in the bonus yet, so it will be on the floor.
Brennan tries to give it to Maxwell, but it is stolen by Grahovic. 25 seconds left. Kyrie Shepard gives it to Grahovic, as he will let the clock wind down.
Looking for last shot.
Grahovic, the layup for two, that was good. And that'll take us to the end of the first half.
That was a great step through, great timing to end the half, extending the lead.
And at the end of the half, it is 40-34 Hornets lead here on Hornet Radio. Caleb, this has been an exciting one early on. Very high scoring game, back and forth. What are your thoughts on this first half of basketball?
You know, you look at both teams' season averages for points per game and points per game allowed. The Hornets have a very, very low points per game allowed, 61.7, one of the best in the state, if not the best. And then you look at the Dons, they average 80 points a game. So it is a very tested battle between great offense, great defense, and right now it looks like the great defense is pulling it out with the little extra help from the offense and Joe Grahovic.
A very, very interesting game here, as both teams are in the top 25 in the 3C 2A. You have Fullerton Hornets at 15 and Santa Ana at 29, both looking to find their way into a playoff spot here. What do you think is the key to Fullerton's success here at the end of this tournament?
I think it is going to be the controlled play of Grahovic, as we've mentioned time and time again. His body control and his ability to do anything, like He is he's number 4 in the league in points per game, and he averages 2.5 blocks per game. And then you look at season averages, once again, for the Hornets, the opponent's blocks per game are 2.5. So he alone is out-averaging their opponents when it comes to blocks.
And of course, we'll have more context and we'll give you more of a scoring update in a minute as the amazing Corey Nayland will fetch us our stat sheet. But yeah, Joe Grahovic is very key to this offense and to this team in general. As you also look at his support staff in Jakari Miles and Justin Davis. Jakari Miles, who is second in the OEC in three-point percentage with 44, and Justin Davis, who is fourth in the OEC in three-point percentage with 42.9. As I mentioned, Corey Nayland brought us over our stat sheet, and early on, as we expected, Jackson Brennan has 15 points.
As does Joe Grahovic. Very, very high-scoring halves from both of them, as they essentially take over the game for both their teams.
Yeah, you also look at Jakari Miles, who came out off the bench, has 7 points, who's Fullerton's second leader in scoring. Let's give you some of these first half stats. Cameron Swist has 6 points, 2 rebounds, no assists. Mac West has 3 points with 1 rebound and 2 steals. Kelvonte Ellis has 2 points, 2 rebounds. Ben Ahinakwa has no points. Jackson Brennan, as we mentioned, has 15 points, 1 rebound, and a block. Jaitis Hayes has 2 points and 4 assists. Javon Maxwell has 4 points, 2 steals, and assists. Kamari Washington has 2 points and a block. As for Fullerton, Justin Davis yet to get on the board, but has 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal, as his defensive presence has been known. Addy Bai with 5 points, 2 rebounds, and a steal. Kyrie Shepard, 2 points, 2 steals, and a rebound, and an assist. Joe Grahovic with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Darvell Wyatt with 4 points, and an assist, and a rebound. Jakari Miles with 7 points, an assist, and a steal. Jackson Hobbs with 5 points, 1 assist, and a block. Anthony Smith Jr. with 2 points, and Braden Smith with a block.
See, you look at a couple of things that jump out to me on this stat sheet. How well both teams have shot the ball. Santa Ana shooting 69% from the field, 40% from 3. Fullerton shooting 60% from the field, 60% from 3. One area where they're both not really excelling is free throw percentage, but Fullerton's only 2. They shot 3 for 5 from the line. Joe Grahovic was their only 2 misses, whereas Santa Ana shot 4 for 9. And the last, most important thing that jumps out to me on the stat sheet, Santa Ana did not lead the entire half. There was never once a lead changed. It was only ever tied twice.
Yeah, that speaks volumes into the preparation from Perry Webster's team as they encountered what they expected to be a tough competition between Santa Ana, their head coach, David Brigg.
So when you look at both these squads. You already gave the first half stats, and it's been an exciting first half. It looked like Fullerton was going to run away with about 5 minutes ago. They were up 31-19. Then Santa Ana buckled down and played some defense, got the ball game back within 6 at 40-34. And you look at both of these teams, believe Santa Ana beat Fullerton for the first time earlier this season in 10 years. So that's one of the things that they hadn't done against Perry Webster's team. And Santa Ana's a team that started out 1-5 in conference play. Now they sit at 7-8 in the second round with a chance to win today. Perry Webster, 9 seasons, although they didn't play in COVID, 20 wins each of his 9 seasons. One of the best coaches in the state. With that record, you can attest to that. And you look at the players that are performing here today. You both mentioned Jackson Brennan and Joe Grahovic. Joe Grahovic is going to be an all-conference performer in the OEC with 15 points in the first half, 2 spectacular dunks on the inside, and also one of the front runners for Player of the Year, along with Santiago Canyon's E.J. Bryson, who's also one of the leaders in conference scoring. He averages 15, just a stat sheet stuffer, as Clark Kellogg likes to say, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and almost a block a game. So you're looking at those 2 guys as key contributors and conference players of the year. Because most people view that you have to have a winning record to be conference player of the year, Santa Ana's got a couple with Kelvonte Ellis. Elias, you were talking about him earlier, and Mac West, who's the team's leading scorer. You were talking about Ellis. He put up what on the season?
Ellis on the season is averaging 11 points per game, 8 rebounds per game. He's doing really, really well, all-around player. And going back to their most recent game against each other, Mac West got 17 points and 8 boards, and he was the driving force for the Santa Ana team during their upset against this Fullerton College team.
And when you look at it, this conference in the OEC has been exciting, and this tournament has been exciting. Elias, you have the standings there. Run down those standings in the OEC and who and what they did in the regular season.
Yeah, so in the Orange Empire Conference, in first place is the Fullerton Hornets. They are 24-3 overall, 13-2 in conference play. In second place is the Santiago Canyon Hawks, who are 23-5 overall, also 13-2 in conference play. In third place is the Cypress Chargers, who are 20-8 overall, 10-5 in conference.
And you mentioned those teams, Santiago Canyon and Cypress. They were playing in the other semi-tournament game. Santiago Canyon beat Cypress in overtime, 76-75. Controversial call and non-call at the end of that ball game, but Cypress goes down in defeat. They finished the conference title strong after a rough midsection.
And of course, we have to finish this one out to see who will go on and take on the Hawks. Right now, it's looking like the Hornets are favored going into the second half. Now going back to those standings, in fourth place is the Santa Ana Dons, who are 17-11 overall, but 7-8 in conference play. In fifth place is the Irvine Valley Lasers, who are 15-3 overall, 7-8 in conference. In sixth place are the Saddleback Bobcats, who are 11-16 overall, 5-10 in conference. In seventh is the Riverside Tigers, who are 12-16 and 4-11. And the Orange Coast Pirates, who are 5-23 overall and 1-14 in conference.
And much like the women's side of the bracket, when you get to the 3C2A playoffs, the women's side of the OEC is going to get 5 teams in the playoffs. Some people might going to disagree. I know Mark doesn't like when I exaggerate the numbers, but the OEC women are getting 5. They're getting Fullerton, they're getting Cypress, they're getting Irvine Valley, who beat Fullerton here tonight, they're getting OCC, and they're getting Santa Ana. On the men's side, also getting 5. They're getting Fullerton, Santiago Canyon, Cypress, Santa Ana, and I believe Irvine Valley will get one of the last seeds. They'll get a play-in game. because they have a strong RPI and they finished above 500. Even though they went against the under 500 in conference, things that we like to have at Hornet Radio, they'll still get in. And when you talk about that, you talk about the top 25 in the 3C2A. I know you both talked about the women's side and who was the standout teams with OEC or OCC and College of the Sequoias. Mount Sac and Moore Park were the top 4 teams along the way. Who are the teams on the men's side in the 3C2A who are going to be those standout teams?
Yeah, the number 1 team in the state is Las Positas. The number 2 is San Francisco, followed by Mount San Antonio at 3. At 4 is West Valley, Citrus at 5.
And you just mentioned the 4th team, West Valley, who won it last year. They went undefeated from up north, and Fullerton lost to them earlier in the season against West Valley, one of their 4 losses this season. And you look at Citrus, there might be the surprise team in the entire state as they put up the most points per game, or they're tied with Chaffee, who puts up 102 points per game. And they're the most exciting team that they've had in quite a while. 3 years ago, they were in the final in the great State 8 with a chance to get to the Final 4, and they didn't get there against San Francisco. This might be their year to get it. And when you look at Santiago Canyon, also from the OEC, consistent, but we'll see if they have an opportunity. When the COVID season happened, Santiago Canyon was primed to take the state title.
You also do have to remember that this top 25 is a little outdated. There hasn't been a top 25 poll since January 29th, so about 2-3 weeks since the last poll. And Los Positas and San Francisco, number 1 and 2 at the time of this poll, have flip-flop. They are in the same conference, and San Francisco has overtaken Los Positas for first in their conference.
Yeah, because you watched that game last week when San Francisco just trounced Los Positas in that ball game, and they took over the number 1 spot. I don't think the number 1 spot really matters on the men's side and on the women's side, because on the women, it's College of Sequoias. On the men's side, it is so wide open, you don't know who's going to get there.
Yeah, looking back at the rest of the list, we have Sequoias and Modesto. As we are getting ready for the second half, we remind you our player to watch today is Addie Bai, who has 11.6 points per game, 40% from the field goal range, and 3.7 rebounds. Back here on Hornet Radio is as the Fullerton Hornets are hosting the Santa Ana Dons. 40-34 is the score. Hornets lead.
The question is for both teams. For Santa Ana, can you slow down Joe Grahovich? And for Fullerton, can you slow down Jackson Brennan? Both of those players are having an absolutely fantastic night. 15 points already.
And we're ready to start the second half here on Hornet Radio. In the game for the Dons, Cameron Swiss, Kelvonte Ellis, Jackson Brennan, Ben Ahinakwa, and Mac West. As Brennan will drain that three, 40-37. Now for the Hornets who have the ball now. Kyrie Shepard, Darvell Wyatt, Joe Grahovic, Addie Bai, and Justin Davis. As that one will go out of bounds. Nice catch by the fan. 40-37. It'll be Hornets ball.
Shepard was trying to get it to Grahovic, but very clear kick ball there by Brennan.
Shepard gets that one up for two, but it's no good, but there will be a foul. So Kyrie Shepard will head to the line for two.
Cavante Ellis looks very, very shocked that there was a foul call there. He did make a lot of contact at the peak. Kyrie Shepard, very all-around player. He's averaging 3.7 points, 2.7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and 0.7 steals.
41-37 now. And Shepard will make both free throws. 42-37, 5-point lead for the Hornets. Brennan gives it to Ellis. To Mac West, guarded by Addy Bai. Gets that one up for two, no good. Recovered by Hornets, but it'll be out of bounds. And it'll be the Dons ball. They'll dump it to Ellis. Shoots for two, and that one will land. 42-39.
That was just great defense there by Wyatt. He had his hand directly in his face. I don't even know how he saw the basket.
Wyatt will dump it to Shepard. Throws it up to Grahovic. There'll be a foul on the Dons. It'll be Hornets ball. Shepard throws it up to the 6'10 Grahovic, who gives it to Wyatt. Addy Bai to Davis. Back to Wyatt. 6 seconds on the shot clock. And Wyatt will draw a foul. It'll be called on Jackson Brennan. So Wyatt will head to the line.
He kind of just hooked Brennan's arm there as he was going up for the shot. You see James Harden do that a lot. He hooks his arm and lets it affect his shot, and it's still a foul called against the defensive player.
Darvell White is 2 for 2 today from the free throw line.
Averaging 5.6 points per game and 4.7 boards.
He is now 3 for 3. Make that 4 for 4. It is now 44-39. Hornets. It's Cameron Swiss. Gives it to Brennan. To Ellis. For two. That one's good. A swish from Calvante Ellis is 44-41 now.
That's back-to-back great fading jumpers there from Cavante Ellis.
And Darvell White seems to be tripped up. That'll be a foul on Ellis. Washington will sub in for Ellis. Four team fouls for the Dons. And 3 for the Hornets. There'll be a foul. Another foul.
That tip pass almost worked in the Hornets' favor. It almost went right into the Gahovic's hands, and it ended up being a loose ball foul.
It'll be Don's balls. Cameron Swiss will take it back. Give it to Washington. Back to Swiss. 10 seconds on the shot clock as he gets that one up. No good. Recovered by Darvell White. Davis to Bai to Grahovic to Wyatt. Underneath, gets that one up. and drains it 46-41.
Great vision there by Grahovic.
Coming up, we will be joined by Fullerton's women's basketball star, Sochi Hood. It is now Fullerton's ball.
Hey guys.
We're now joined by Fullerton star, Sochi Hood.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, of course, no problem.
So, you guys, obviously a disappointing loss today.
Yeah.
But the bigger picture is you get some better seedings for the playoffs. What is your approach going into next game?
Right. So, as I understand it, Cyprus is fighting for a high position in conference standings right now, and we're the only thing in their way. So, we just got to take the responsibility of that position.
And obviously tonight was sophomore night, a big pregame ceremony. How would you describe your time as a Hornet?
Well, I loved both seasons that I was here. I definitely learned a lot in both seasons. But I guess the thing I take away is how much better my game gets as the people around me change. So I don't know. I'm not putting a limit on where my game can go after being here.
Little more of a personal question towards you. How were you able to just pick up organized basketball the way you did after being a soccer player and not really playing organized basketball at a high level until last year?
Yeah. I think if you had seen my very first minutes of a scrimmage last season, you'd be like, wow, can't believe she made it here. Because I was very focused on doing special, flashy things. That's been kind of my MO in soccer and football and basketball. And so I can force shots up, and you guys have definitely seen that. But yeah, I guess the name of the game for me has just been to control and to, I don't know, become more polished with every time I step on the court. So that's kind of been my mindset, is let the game change me, let the people I'm around change me in the ways that I think is going to help. So yeah.
49-41 Hornets. We're here with Sochi Hood. Do you have any plans for after Fullerton?
Yeah, I'm kind of teetering between playing D3 or D2. Obviously, the goal would be the highest level I can get to, but I just got to see what kind of scholarship money is going to be in store. But yeah, I definitely want to keep playing, and I don't know, I'm excited.
How does it?
52-42 as the Hornets extend their lead to 10.
How does it feel to know that you were all OEC first team last season and well on your way to it again this season?
It feels really good. That's what all the hours in the gym are for, but also it just kind of comes with the position I'm in. So I just I want to do what my coaches think I can do. So yeah.
You mentioned your coaches. How big of an impact has head coach Dan Desmond had on you?
Oh yeah, he gets after it every day, and so I lead by example, and I could tell that's the kind of person he is, and those are the kind of people I want to be around always. So it's been a blessing. He says me walking through the doors here was a blessing, but I think having him as a coach was just the same degree of awesome. So yeah.
52-42 here in the second half. 15-10 remaining as there is a timeout called by Fullerton. 52-42 Hornets. This is Hornet Radio.
As a college basketball player, what are you seeing from this game, both that the Hornets can improve on and make sure that they win this game, and also what are they doing well that they should keep doing?
Well, I mean, I just stepped in here, but hearing from my coaches and other people that have been watching, they're saying that Santa Ana is pretty scrappy. I know that our team always comes in and expects to get a blowout just by the degree that they prepare. So, I don't know, they're looking to finish this game off. They just got to execute offensively and not foul defensively.
So you have a lot of really fun memories here. What would you say is your favorite memory on this court?
On this court, wow. Probably, I'm going to be selfish, the three-pointer I hit against Santa Ana. That felt so good. I spent the summer working on my three-point game, and so every time I get to step into a shot confidently and I knock it down, it feels like the best feeling.
What do you feel like is... Sochi, we want to thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a good day, and I wish you luck on all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you to Sochi Hood there for a great interview. Very good. 52-42 Hornets with 15 minutes remaining in the second half. Make sure to check her and the Fullerton Hornets women's basketball team on their playoff run. Hayes gives it to Swiss, back to Washington. Back to Swiss. To Hayes. And that one's stolen by Addie Bai and given to Grahovic. Davis, no good. Rebounded by Hops, but is given back to the Dons. And looks like a goaltending will be called on Joe Grahovic.
That was very, very close. The ball had just started to come down on that block there by Grahovic, so they did end up calling it for a goaltend.
52-44 Hornets. 14-18 remaining is Hornets ball. Davis, guarded by Swiss. Gives it to Miles for three, no good. Rebounded by Swiss. West tries a layup and is fouled, and he will head to the line.
That was a very, very heavy collision there between those three players, and also a very clear foul. You could see the arm swipe down, trying to go for a block, but you never try and swipe down unless you're for sure that you can get all ball. If you swipe down, it's going to get called for a foul 9 times out of 10.
West makes his first free throw. Mac West, a sophomore out of San Juan Capistrano. Second free throw is no good and will go out of bounds. It'll be Fullerton's ball. 52-45 here. As Hops will give it to Davis. Swiss looking for a call there. Doesn't get it. Gives it to Grahovic. That attempt is no good. Rebounded by Hobbs, but Grahovic also not good. Davis also not good.
Attempted a little flash there. Maybe put him off a bit.
Swiss. And there will be a foul called on Davis.
He tried setting a screen. His feet were a bit too far apart. Ended up tripping Davis for Fullerton.
And Kelvonte Ellis will sub in for Javon Maxwell. Hornets ball is Hops will give it to Davis. Give it to Grahovic. Davis loses it for a second, but recovers. Gives it to Miles. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Miles for three. No good. Rebounded by Mac West. 12:43 remaining in the second half. Good ball movement by the Dons as Tyler Peterson has the ball. Switched for three, no good. Rebounded by Addy Bai. And a timeout is called by the Hornets. It's 52-45 Hornets lead with 12:21 remaining in this one. This is Hornet Radio.
We see Justin Davis for the Hornets bringing the ball up 95% of the time when he's on the court. He just has that ball handling skill, and he also has the passing skill to be a point guard like they need him to be. He leads the conference in assists. He is averaging 4.4, and not far behind him is Kari Shepard, averaging 3.5. He's fourth in the conference.
Again, we want to thank Xochitl Hood for joining us as we get ready to come back into this one. Again, we mentioned the last time that Santa Ana and Fullerton faced each other. Back here on Hornet Radio, 52-45, Hornets lead. So the lineups for the Hornets: Joe Grahovic, Addy Bai, Justin Davis, Cameron Hops, and Jakari Miles. As the Dons will take this one. And Kamari Washington is good for two. And he takes the court alongside Cameron Swiss, Kelvonte Ellis, Jackson Brennan, and Tyler Peterson. Addy Bai gives it under to Grahovic, who's good for two. 54-47 Hornets.
That looked like what Grahovic was trying to do last time, except he tried to dump the ball off instead of just taking the shot that he had, and it ended up in a turnover for him.
Brennan gives it to Ellis. Good for three. 54-50, as both teams are in the 50s now, with 11:17 remaining. Tightly contested game here. Grahovic tries a screen. But Addy Bai is good from the paint, 56-50. 11 minutes remaining. Swiss to Peterson. Peterson for three. No good. Rebounded by Davis, who loses that one and is back to Peterson. Washington gets that one knocked away. That'll be Don's ball. That'll be a foul on Hops.
Hops is second of the game.
Kamari Washington back on the line. He's made every free throw, I believe. Except for that one. 56-50, as there will be a bunch of new subs coming in. Jaitis Hayes and Mac West for the Dons. Anthony Smith Jr. for the Hornets, along with it seems to be just Anthony Smith Jr. 56-51 now, as Anthony Smith Jr. has the ball. Screened by Grahovic. Miles for three. That one's good. 59-51. The Dons moving fast. Hayes to Washington. Guarded by Hops for two. That one's good. 59-53. 10 minutes remaining. Grahovic gives it to Hops. Uses the backboard for two. 61-53. West guarded by Davis. Washington will draw a foul, and he'll head back to the free throw line. 61-53 Hornets, 9:31 remaining.
This entire game has been fast-paced, high-scoring from both teams. Fullerton has kept the lead the entire game, and they just can't seem to fully pull away. And that's because it seems like every time they try, every time they get a decent lead like they have right now, 61-53, they start to get a little sloppy, maybe complacent, it seems. They start to make simple mistakes that they wouldn't normally.
Washington misses the first free throw, and Darvell Wyatt will take over for Joe Grahovic. Second free throw is good. 61-54. Ben Ahinakwa will step out for Telvonte Ellis. The lineups for Fullerton: Anthony Smith Jr., Darvell Wyatt. Anthony Smith Jr., the hard fall.
Devontae Ellis poked the ball away there from Anthony Smith Jr., and they both got tangled up. Hard fall from Smith Jr., and it looked like his arm got tangled with Ellis's, maybe wrenching it back a little bit. Obviously not a fun feeling, and couple that with a hard fall, completely understandable why he had to take a little bit of time to get back up.
Now getting some attention from our training staff. But the rest of the lineups, Kyrie Shepard will take over for Anthony Smith Jr., Jakari Miles, Justin Davis, Darvell Wyatt, and Jackson Hops. For the Dons, Tyler, check that is Jackson Brennan, Mac West, who's making these free throws, Telvonte Ellis, Kamari Washington, and Jaitis Hayes. 61-54, Hornets lead, 9:24 remaining.
The Dons are now in the bonus. Any foul will result in free throws, and they did kind of make what one might call a tiny comeback when it comes to fouls. They had 6 and were 1 away from putting the Hornets in the bonus, and the Hornets were at 4, and now it's flipped. The Dons are still only at 6, and the Hornets are now at 7, putting the Dons in the bonus.
And Mac West will make both free throws, make that 61-56. As Shepard will take this back for the Hornets. Guarded by Hayes. Takes inside the paint, gives it to Davis, to Miles for 2. No good, but he'll draw a foul. The foul will be on Brennan.
Miles there had Brennan slipping, and maybe it's a little bit of sweat on the court, or maybe his shoes don't have great traction, or maybe his momentum was just a bit too much. But he did slip and caused a foul. Brennan's trying to argue that Miles kicked his leg out, and so he shouldn't be liable for the contact there, but Miles is shooting his 2 free throws nonetheless.
As you see, Brennan pleading his case with Billy Logue.
And now, as I just talked about, both teams are now in the bonus. Any foul from anybody will result in free throws.
As Jakari Miles makes his first free throw, 62-56. And he makes both free throws, 63-56. 9 minutes remaining. Jartis Hayes, guarded by Miles, gives it to Brennan, who gives it to Ellis, and that one's good for two, 63-58. Shepard. Gives it to Miles. Directing traffic. Screen by Wyatt. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gets that one up. No good. Rebounded by Hayes. Hayes will give it to West. And that one's no good. Rebounded by Miles. He'll throw that one and it'll hit off of one of his teammates and it'll be Don's ball.
That was a desperation pass. He was surrounded by three people falling out of bounds. He was trying to do anything he could to save the ball and keep possession for his team, and he just chucked it a bit too hard at his teammates who weren't quite expecting it to come that hard and that low.
Jartis Hayes will throw it in for the Dons. They'll find Ellis open, and that one is off the backboard. 63-60. Hornets lead. 8 minutes remaining. Shepard. A great move on Hayes. Gives it to Wyatt. And that'll be a foul. Looks to be on the Dons. Joe Grahovic and Addy Bai will sub in for Darvell Wyatt and Kyrie Shepard, and Javon Maxwell will take over for Kelvonte Ellis. Kamari Washington will take over for Jackson Brennan.
Speaking of Jackson Brennan, he, like we had talked about at halftime, scored really well at the half, had 15. He hasn't done much since. He only has 3 points this half, and they're looking towards other people to help them step up, and it's working really well so far.
Missed free throw. Grahovic tried to pass it to one of his teammates, but it is now Don's ball with a 3-point lead for the Hornets. Could change at any moment. Mac West takes that one inside the paint and lays that one up. It is a 1-point lead for the Hornets, 63-62.
Perry Webster arguing that was a travel.
Davis will dump it to Grahovic. Tries the screen. Miles to Davis. Grahovic for three. That one's good. 66-62. A timeout will be called by the Dons. 66-62, Hornets lead with 6:58 remaining from the rest of this game. This is Hornet Radio.
Grahovic, that was his third three-point attempt on the night. He's made 2. He's shooting really, really well. He was 7 for 10 overall in the first half, and he's currently up to 20 points.
Just another great game by Joe Grahovic, which we sound like a broken record, which shows why not only will he be able or up for all OEC team, but also OEC MVP.
Yeah, and rewinding a little bit to the last foul before the mass switch for the Dons, that was Kelvonte Ellis. That was his 4th foul, so he is 1 away from fouling out, and they definitely need him in this game.
Back here on Hornet Radio. Hornets lead this one 66-62. It is getting very late. 6:58, close game. The Dons, on the court for the Dons is Cameron Swist, Jaitis Hayes, Mac West, Kamari Washington, and Javon Maxwell. 66-64 now. On the court for the Hornets, Justin Davis, Joe Grahovec, Jackson Hops, Jakari Miles, and Addy Bai. Davis tries a no-look pass to Grahovec. Ooh, what a move by Addy Bai. And there will be a foul against Santa Ana. Foul on Kamari Washington. And Jakari Miles will head back to the free throw line looking for better luck than his last attempt.
Reminder, because it was a floor foul, it is a 1-and-1. So he doesn't shoot two unless he makes the first.
Misses another free throw. 66-64. 6:10 remaining as Hayes gives it to Washington. Maxwell for two. That one's good. And we're all tied up. 5:54 remaining. We're tied at 66. Joe Grahovec, guarded by Maxwell. Gives it to Miles. Bounce pass to Hops. Grahovec for two. And the Hornets are back in front, 68-66. 5:30 remaining. Hayes gives it to Swist. Back to West. To Washington. Great ball movement by the Dons. Swist. The crowd chanting defense. And that one gets stolen by the Hornets. And there's two. 70-66.
Defense chant paid off. Steal and one. And the crowd is getting back into it. They had lost it a little bit once the Dons started making their comeback, and they did tie it up. But now they have a chance to go. Now the Hornets have a chance to go back up 5, and the crowd is getting back into it again.
And that'll be a timeout taken by the Dons. 70-66 with 5:02 remaining in this game. This is Hornet Radio.
It feels like the Dons are trying to stop the momentum swing because they had the momentum going into it, and then that little baby hook there by Grahovec, and then the steal and one from Jackson Hops. It looks like they're trying to stop the bleeding before crowd can get two back into it and get them out of their rhythm.
Yeah, and as a reminder, this is the Orange Empire Conference men's basketball tournament, and the winner of this will take on Santiago Canyon. As yes, the Santa Ana Dons and Hornets are close in the standings, but a chance for the Dons to overtake the Hornets in this tournament.
The Hornets have only lost 3 games all season, one of them coming to this Dons team. And so, like Corey had said earlier, Santiago Canyon Santa Ana, I can't speak, trying their hardest to prove that their win against Fullerton wasn't a fluke. Fullerton trying their hardest to prove that it was.
Back here on Hornet Radio, 4-point lead as the Hornets lead 70-66, 5:02 remaining. Jakari Miles will head to the free throw line alongside Joe Grahovec, Jackson Hops, Justin Davis, and Addy Bai. The Dons have Mac West, Kamari Washington, Javon Maxwell, and Jackson Brennan. As he misses the free throw, but They will draw another foul. The Dons are now up to 10 fouls in this game, while the Hornets have 7. And Joe Grahovac, probably the guy you'd want in this situation, will head to the free throw line.
As I had mentioned earlier, with the foul swing of being up 7-4 and then swinging it 6-7, and now it's swung back the other way, 10-7.
Grahovac makes his first free throw. And he'll make both. 72-66 is a 6-point lead. A little bit of breathing room for the Hornets. The Dons trying to come back. 4:50 remaining. Washington to the corner. Gives it to Hayes. To Brennan for 3. No good. Rebounded by Grahovac. And as you mentioned, Brennan still trying to get on the board in the second half. Grahovac over to Hops, and that is good for 2. 74-66. 4:15 remaining. Hayes, guarded by Miles, gives it to Washington. In the paint for 2, blocked by Grahovac. Tries again and is blocked again by Grahovac. Great defense there by Grahovac. All he has to do is just stand really tall. The ball will go back to the Dons. West tries that one off the board, but it'll be no good. But he will draw a foul and head to the line.
Grahovac now has 4 blocks in this game.
Seems really easy for him. All he has to do is stand tall with his arms up.
Sure, it helps when you're 6'10" and have almost a 7-foot wingspan.
Mac West. For 2. Makes his first. 74-67, a 7-point lead. Kelvonte Ellis will take over for Ben Ahinakwa. Misses his second free throw, and it'll be recovered by the Hornets. 3:30 remaining. Grahovac, guarded by Ellis. Gives it to Miles to Bai for 3. No good. Rebounded by Ellis. Cameron Swiss will take over. The crowd getting louder, yelling defense. Washington. Blocked again by Grahovac, but it'll be called a foul. And Washington is slow to get up.
That's Grahovac's 4th. He has to be careful if he wants to stay in for the rest of this game.
Certainly a guy you can't take out of this Fullerton lineup right now. Washington heads back to the free throw line. Makes it 68-74. 74-68. Misses that one. Recovered by Jackson Hops and the Fullerton Hornets. And Davis will take this one down, guarded by Swiss. Gives it to Miles for 3. Misses that one. Recovered by the Dons. Brennan for 3. That one's good. Jackson Brennan is on the board here in the second half, 74-71.
Brennan has officially breached 20 points. That is, he now has 21.
Davis to Grahovec. 3-point lead. Davis. 8 seconds on the shot clock. There will be a foul. Foul on Kelvonte Ellis, and Grahovec will head back to the line.
That is Kelvonte Ellis' 5th foul. He has officially fouled out of the game.
Jaitis Hayes is in now for the Dons.
It's interesting on that 5th foul by Ellis because you see him go over the back of Joe Grahovec, but a play before, right before Brendan hit that 3, you saw Joe Grahovec go over the back of 2 Santa Ana players with no foul called.
Very interesting. 75-71 as the Hornets will call a timeout. Hornets lead with 2:07 remaining. This is Hornet Radio.
And what's been happening in this game? Can you guys recap that?
You look at both of these teams, very high scoring, obviously 75-71. As we talked about earlier, the defense versus offense balance, and it has been very scrappy, a lot of hard falls, as we saw. Also in the women's game, there were a lot of hard falls as well. So maybe it's, especially when you look at Kelvonte Ellis and him averaging 11 and 8. He's one of their best players, and to get fouled out on a little bit of a controversial call like that, it definitely hurts the Dons here.
As we're back on Hornet Radio, 75-71 Hornets lead with 2:07 remaining. Joe Grahovec at the free throw line, who's already made one. And he makes both. 76-71. On the court for the Dons, Kamari Washington, Jaitis Hayes, Mac West, Jackson Brenner, and Cameron Swist, as the Dons will draw a foul. And now both teams are in double-digit fouls. On the court for the Hornets, Justin Davis, Addy Bai, Joe Grahovec, Jackson Hops, and Jakari Miles.
That last one didn't look like a foul to me. It looked like he ripped the ball and West just kind of flailed his arms. Maybe a tiny bit of a makeup call. I don't want to call it that, but it's kind of what it looked like to me.
Joe Grahovec asking for more energy from the stands. And Mac West will make a free throw, 76-72. 4-point lead for the Hornets. Under 2 minutes remaining. Davis guarded by Hayes. Gives it to Grahovec. Guarded by Washington. To Davis. Seven seconds on the shot clock. Davis will not get that one to land. And is recovered by Mac West and the Dons. That one's no good on the attempt from Jaitis Hayes, and it will be rebounded by Joe Grahovec and the Hornets. Throws it up to Miles, bounces it to Hops, and he loses that one, and it'll go out of bounds. It'll be Don's ball. And it'll be a timeout called by Santa Ana. 76-72 with barely over a minute left in this one. This is Hornet Radio.
You look at the how Santa Ana is now playing this Fullerton team. They switched to a full court press. trying to put pressure, trying to get them to make simple mistakes like they haven't been all game, and that right there from Jackson Hobbs was one of them. He had an open shot. He rushed it a bit too much, tried to get into his layup motion a little too quickly, and the ball just went right through his hands.
Yeah. So far, it's getting really close down to the wire, very intense, it only being a 4-point lead. What do you think is the key for the Hornets to maintain this?
They have to not make simple mistakes. If they don't make simple mistakes and continue playing like they have been, I think they should be okay. I think the key for the Dons is going to be Jaitis Hayes. He is one of their best on-ball defenders. He's averaging almost 2 steals per game, and you could see it in that last possession. He was very focused, very intense. You could see it on his face, especially because last time they played, he only played 14 minutes because he fouled out in those 14 minutes.
You got to take a look at Jackson Brennan, too. Back here on Hornet Radio, 76-72, under a minute remaining. The Dons have the ball. Kamari Washington on the court alongside Cameron Swiss. As he makes that one, Kamari Washington does. 76-74, and he'll draw a foul and head back. Won't head back to the line. It'll be Hornets ball.
There was no foul. They're just calling for Sweat to get off the court a bit.
Also on the court for the Dons, Jackson Brennan, Jaitis Hayes, and Mac West. And for the Hornets, Jakari Miles, Joe Grahovic, Kyrie Shepard, Justin Davis, and Addy Bai. 76-74, 49 seconds remaining.
Both teams in the bonus. Any foul will result in free throws. And you have to think, if you're Fullerton, who do you want taking these if it comes down to it?
Obviously, Joe Grahovic, he's been pretty automatic from the free throw line this game. As Kyrie Shepard gives it to Justin Davis. Shepard bounces it, tries to get it to Grahovic, but is stolen by Mac West, who is tripped up. As we'll get the floor mopped up a bit.
To me, it looked like he had a shot there, and he decided to try and dump it off to Grahovic in the middle of a lot of traffic. And I feel like if he had, not necessarily that he doesn't trust himself, but if he had been fine with the pressure taking that shot, he would have been good.
And West makes that first free throw. It's 76-75.
They're both teams have a pretty big. They're shooting well from the free throw line. At least Fullerton is. They are 14 of 19, and the Dons are 14 of 25. So they've made the same amount. It's just Fullerton College is being a lot more efficient. You look at the Dons, they are shooting 59% from the field, and the Hornets are shooting 56%, but the Hornets are shooting a little better from three-point, as the Dons are 6 of 15, and the Hornets are 6 of 14.
Really interesting as we head into.
The Hornets have 16 turnovers to the Dons 12, and that shows in their points off of turnovers, 20-15 for the Dons. Fullerton has 7 more total rebounds than the Dons, 28-21, and 5 more offensive rebounds, 9-4 in that case. They are Fullerton has 15 assists compared to the Dons 9, which and then the blocks differential is double, which makes it sound a little better than it is, 4-2. And the Dons have 10 steals, whereas the Hornets have 7.
Back here on Hornet Radio after a timeout. As We are now tied as Mac West makes both free throws. 76-76, 27.8 seconds remaining. On the court for the Hornets, Darvell Wyatt, Justin Davis, Addy Bai, Joe Grahovic, and Jakari Miles. And on the court for the Dons, Jartis Hayes, Cam Swist, Mac West, Jackson Brennan, and Kamari Washington. Clock winding down. 12 seconds remaining. Davis has the ball. Gives it to Grahovic. 5 seconds remaining. That one's up. No good for White. And that game is over, or is heading to overtime, as we are tied at 76.
Got to get ready for a great overtime period here in the Hornets Nest.
(76-76) at the end of regulation. We head to overtime here on Hornet Radio. Obviously, it was big for Mac West making those free throws that tied the game. Now we head to overtime. What are you looking for in this overtime?
Controlled play. Both teams panicked at the end. They rushed it. You could definitely see it in those last 2 shot attempts that they were trying to get up. They rushed it thinking they had less time than they did, and they pushed it a little too hard, and I feel like if they had taken a half a second to compose themselves before they went up for the shot, they probably would have made it, and this game would be over.
And overtime here will be 5 minutes, as we'll have a jump ball. 76-76 back here on Hornet Radio. On the court for the Hornets, we have Addy Bai, Joe Grahovic, Jakari Miles, Justin Davis, and Darvell Wyatt. And for the Dons, Mac West, Cameron Swist, Jackson Brennan, Jartis Hayes, and Kamari Washington, as the Hornets will take the ball from the jump ball. And Davis will give it to Grahovic, 78-76. Both teams still have their bonus. Swist to Washington for 2. No good, but there will be a foul called on the Hornets. Pretty questionable call, as Perry Webster disagrees.
It looked, he kind of grabbed his arm, held him as they were trying to get the rebound. So
Jackson Brennan will head to the free throw line. Makes his first one, 78-77.
And as he's shooting this free throw, you have to remember the foul trouble that each of these teams is in. Kelvonte Ellis for the Dons has fouled out. Joe Grahovic is 1 away from fouling out. You have to be careful in this scenario, especially because we still have 4.5 minutes left.
As Brennan ties the game with his second free throw made. Hornets having some good ball movement. Grahovic gives it to Wyatt. Off his foot, recovered by Cameron Swist. That one will go out of bounds.
Perry Webster arguing that his player was grabbed. Darvell Wyatt arguing that the ball was kicked.
Cameron Swist takes the ball for the Dons. Gives it to Washington. 4 minutes remaining in overtime. Hayes for 3. No good. Rebounded by Jakari Miles. Darvell Wyatt gives it to Grahovic. Fakes a pass to Davis, gets that one up. It is no good, knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Hornets ball.
That was very, very close. Wyatt had the most contact that tipped it out. It just grazed Brennan's finger as it went out.
Miles gives it to Wyatt, who gives it right back to Miles. And it is now Don's ball. Hayes gives it to Swiss. Washington. Shot clock at 10. Washington for 3, no good. Recovered by him. Swiss recovers, and the Dons are now in lead for the first time in this entire game, 80-78.
Yes.
And there seems to be a fight for the ball. It's getting intense late here. Don's ball. A lot of emotion in this one.
Especially because it is playoffs and they are fighting for OEC title.
80-78, the Dons lead. As you mentioned, for the first time in this game, comes in overtime.
Very impressive that they have managed to stay in this game despite not having a lead until halfway through the first overtime period.
You look at the last time these teams faced each other, the Dons won 75-68. It is now 80-78, a high-scoring one in this one, as both teams have prepared very well.
You look at the spreading of the wealth here for Fullerton. They have 7 players who have an assist, which is almost double what they had in their last game against the Dons. Only 4 players had assists in their last game, 2 of them being starters, and those were Davis and Grahovic.
Brennan will give the ball to Hayes. 2:30 remaining. Swiss for 2. No good, rebounded by Miles. 2:20 remaining. Davis. Gives it to Miles. And there'll be a foul called on the Dons. Called on Swiss.
Santa Ana looking for either a double dribble or a travel call. They didn't get it. I'm not quite sure what exactly was called. I couldn't see the ref's hand signal from here. But it ends with Miles getting 2 free throws, draining the first one to potentially tie this game back up.
Jakari Miles, who had struggled from the free throw line this game, makes his first one. And makes the second one, and we are now tied 80-80 with 2:10 remaining. Two minutes remaining. West gives it to Washington. Back to West in the paint. And there will be a foul called on the Hornets. It will be charged to Wyatt.
That's only Wyatt's second foul in this game. He's wondering where he went wrong. He had his hands up the whole time. It looked like a body check.
West will head back to the line, who, if you remember, helped tie up the game and send us to overtime. Misses his first one.
That's huge for both teams. If you're Fullerton, you have to think, we can take the lead with this next possession. And if you're the Dons, you have to think, we cannot let them score.
And he makes the second one for redemption, 81-80. Joe Grahovic will give it to Davis. Perry Webster looking for a foul there, as Davis will give it to Miles. Grahovic in the paint. That one will land, 82-81. The Hornets will lead, as there's a timeout called by the Hornets. 82-81 Hornets lead with 1:26 remaining in overtime. This is Hornet Radio.
Grahovic now up to 30 points on the night. Absolutely stellar night from him, and that right there, that's just, what can you do if you're the Dons? He's just 6'10". He has the skill to use his height and length. There's just not much you can do defensively.
Yeah, 30 points. What is he averaging per game?
He's doubled his season average. He's averaging 15.6.
Right, so that's big, especially, well, it is overtime, so they have more time to get more points, but still, nonetheless, an impressive game out of Joe Grahovic.
If you're Fullerton, do you just let Grahovic do his thing for the rest of overtime? Or do you try and spread the ball around and hope that the Dons try to send everything at him?
Well, in big games like this, you want the ball in your best player's hands. So you just give it to Grahovic and have the support from Davis and Miles, and they're gonna be all right. As we're back here on Hornet Radio, 82-81, Hornets lead. 1:18 remaining in overtime. There seems to be a foul.
That's a blocking foul against Jackson Hops.
Jackson Hops now into this game for the Hornets. As we take a look at the rest of the lineup, Addy By, Joe Grahovic, Justin Davis, and Jakari Miles. And for the Dons, Kamari Washington, who's heading through the free throw line. Jaitis Hayes, Jackson Brennan, Mac West, and Cameron Swist. Washington makes his first free throw, and we are tied at 82.
A lot of the crowd was looking for a charge call on that last play. He kind of got his shoulder, Washington's shoulder kind of dropped, but Hop's feet weren't set, and that's the difference there between a charge and a blocking foul.
And that free throw is missed and is rebounded by Darvell Wyatt, who is subbed in for Jackson Hops. Grahovic gives it to Davis. Bounce pass to Grahovic. Puts it up for two, and that's good. 84-82. And the Hornets are back out in front.
There's that 6'10" coming in again, as we just talked about. And if you're the Dons, how do you stop it?
Under a minute. 47 seconds remaining. West. Washington wants the ball, but West will put it up. No good. Rebounded by Wyatt. 30 seconds remaining. They're looking for a foul there. There's a foul on Santa Ana.
That has to be an intentional foul. They got to stop the clock, and they only have 2 timeouts left. But a lot of people looking for that foul there against Wyatt on Jaitis Hayes. When he just dropped him, he did have his feet set, and he didn't move. He just kind of dropped.
Darvell Wyatt misses his first free throw, as we have some stubs. Ben Ahinakwa takes over for Jaitis Hayes. And Addy By will come into the game. Pardon me. Jackson Hops will take over for Addy By. 85-82, as both free throws were made. 23 seconds remaining. Cameron Swiss needs a three-pointer to tie it. Brennan airballs it, recovered by Wyatt as Jakari Miles is injured. Seems to be another poke in the eye.
Perry Webster very unhappy that a foul was not called. I didn't see exactly what happened. I was focused on watching Brennan's shot, but Miles able to get up okay.
$85-82 Hornets lead. 9 seconds remaining in overtime.
And Hornets have possession. If they are able to inbound this ball and hit one out of these 2 free throws that they're going to get, it's game over. Or not entirely game over, but it's pretty close.
You can never be too sure, especially what we've seen in this game.
Fair
As Addy Bai will take over for Jakari Miles.
Santa Ana bringing out full court press, trying to not let them get the ball in.
Hobson bounds it to Grahovic as he will give it to Davis, and there is the foul.
They almost broke through and were able to get a free layup off without stopping the clock. It was close. Santa Ana got there at the last possible millisecond.
6.2 seconds remaining here in overtime. Justin Davis will head to the free throw line. Makes the first one. 86-82, now a 4-point lead. As Ben Ahinakwa will take over, or will switch over with Kamari Washington. And Kyrie Shepard will take over for Addy Bai. And the second free throw is made, 87-82.
And now I think I'm willing to call game over.
Swiss misses that one, and now it is game over. The Fullerton Hornets win this one, 87-82, and will move on to face Santiago Canyon in round 3 of the OEC men's basketball tournament. On behalf of the Fullerton Basketball Hornets Radio, this is Elias Sarvila here on Hornet Radio.